Registration, fines, penalties, standards, lots of controversy over the Teaching Council bill that's now before Parliament. We had to come back to the issue to hear some more perspectives on it. Thank you so much for joining us. This is All Angles. I'm Dion Jackson-Miller. And joining me today in studio, we have the president, online is president of the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, Linvern Wright. Also with us in studio, Dean of the Teachers Colleges of Jamaica, Dr. Garth Anderson, President of the Jamaica Teachers Association, Dr. Mark Smith with us as well, and member of the Jamaica Association of Principals and Vice Principals, also principal of Kingston Technical High School, Malton Campbell. Just before we come to our guests, though, let's hear what Education Minister Senator Dana Morris Dixon had to say to us last week about the need for the proposed legislation.
I think it's something that's been seen to be very important, and globally we're seeing more individuals move towards, and more countries move towards having a teaching council. It's really about professionalizing the profession of teaching. It really says you can't just wake up one morning and say I'm a teacher and end up in a classroom. It is setting professional standards for teachers. It speaks to continuous professional development. It speaks to fit and proper, how you establish that someone is good enough to be around our children. So these types of legislations are actually, you're seeing more of them around the world. And even in CARICOM had agreed that this was something that was a priority for member states. And you also have global commissions on education that have all said that this is the direction that will be very helpful for countries in terms of raising the standards and really protecting the profession and also protecting our students and giving them the kind of teachers that they deserve, especially in an environment where we know we have deficiencies and where we want the best for our children. So these types of legislations with a council that mandates, continuous professional education and standards are becoming very routine, and you see them around the world.
One of the concerns, though, is that are we going a little bit overboard at the introduction of this new regime, even looking at, for instance, some of the penalties. So, for instance, if you're teaching without the requisite registration or authorization, and then the council sends you a notice, and you continue to teach, you're liable to a fine of up to $500,000. Some of the fines seem very heavy in relation to what it is we're talking about.
And I think when you look at the bill is very clear that there are maximum amounts that are put in. And what the Joint Select Committee had done, and if you look at the report from the Joint Select Committee, they looked at the fines by looking at other pieces of legislation that dealt with fraudulent offenses, and they just benchmarked based on that. But those were maximum amounts. The court would determine what that fine would ultimately be. And so I think the fines, the issue of those fines is one that I think people have focused on quite a bit. But I don't think that's really what the focus should be. The focus should be on what are we trying to get out of this bill. We're trying to establish that a teacher is fit and proper. Most of our teachers are already fit and proper. We know that. But we also know we've had instances. There were individuals who have pretended to be teachers or in our classroom who have not been healthy for our children. And what we're saying is, as a country, we believe education is so important that we want to have and ensure that the persons who are in front of our children, that are interacting with our children and our girls and our boys, that they are fit and proper individuals. That's a big part of this bill. And that is a very good thing. And I think that's a great thing for Jamaica. Also, the elements about continuous professional development, those are really good things too. And so many of our teachers already are down that road. It's such a good bill, and there's so many elements I want to talk through. But in terms of of next steps, it was passed in the Senate. And just to remind everyone, that was after many years of debate, after 45 Joint Select Committee meetings, many entities coming and presenting to the Joint Select Committee. So we passed it in the Senate. The next step would be for it to be tabled and passed in the House. But of course, we're a government that is very listening and we're very caring. And I've had that approach with the government. I have a monthly meeting with the JTA. Every single month I meet with the JTA where they come with their issues. If there are concerns, I know we can work them through.
So boy, how you listen to that and then have issues, and yet the JTA does. Perhaps I should start with you then, Dr. Smith. Minister says professionalizing teaching, making sure people who are in front of our children are fit and proper, standards, setting standards. That's something that's being done the world over. So JTA just a fight against sake.
What do I say to that, Dion? Well, good evening. Thanks for having me. I listened intently, and I do agree with some of what Minister has said. So, for instance, the idea that we want to professionalize the teaching service, the JTA, and I've uttered that on multiple occasions. We believe in the principle of licensing. What we have to ensure is that the final bill that gets through the lower house is a bill that reflects what we consider a protection of the rights of teachers. It is fair to the teachers, while at the same time empowers and adds autonomy to the teaching service.
And you don't think the current bill does that?
We have significant concerns about it. We have made several representations through the Joint Select Committee, in fact, two in 2014 and 2018. And we believe that not enough opportunity was taken by the committee to actually apply much of what we have said. Much talk has been had about the gestation period of this bill. And you'd have heard people say 20 years. Well, certainly not 20 years because we have stepped in the way. 20 years because we have seen a failure to really engage in meaningful, deliberate engagement. And that's what we're asking for.
All right, we'll get into details in a little bit. But Mr. Campbell, your position on the bill?
My position is that, yes, the bill is needed. We know that the Jamaica Teaching Council have been around. It has been a part of the Ministry of Education for a while, and we know that it's operating, but it doesn't really have the legal framework to operate and do much of what it needs to do. Mm-hmm. But currently, as the bill is not reflecting the current realities that are facing the education system at this time. There are a number of issues. There are monsters, things like teacher migration, things like burnout, teacher burnout, and of course there's the issue of the boards. So when we have issues, when we look at like section 51 of the bill that deals with the disciplinary aspect of it, we have to be careful. We really have to listen and have the conversation and really go back and revisit to ensure that we are clear on how we deal with issues that affects our teachers. Thank you.
I'm going to come back, but just want to go around the table first. So for you, what about you, Dr. Anderson?
Well, certainly in principle, we support the bill. And that has been said over and over again for years. But we have serious concern about aspects of the bill. And the truth is, I think what we have to assess on the public, since 2014, this bill that we now have, we could have passed it then. Because the bill, little changes have been made to the bill. Significantly, what has changed? We moved from 19 to 31, and the section dealing with if you are practicing without authorization or without your license, then they remove the area about 6 months in prison. But substantially, this is the bill from 2014. And the same concerns have been laid before the policymakers at all levels in writing. We have evidence of that. And yet today, we are discussing the same things. I heard a clip with the executive director of JTC saying that, we have listened to the JTA, which is a union representing over 25,000 teachers. And we have put in what they have asked for. They asked for 6 members, and we put in 6 members. But at the time when we asked for 6 members, there were 19 persons on the board. They moved it to 31 and we still have 6. So this is really voodoo mathematics that they're working. We just have to be honest. I heard the minister to say we are prepared to listen, and I have no doubt that will happen. But the current state of the bill is doom and gloom, if you ask me, for the teaching profession.
Wow.
And so those who advocate will have to stand between the devil and the wide blue sea that is awaiting to drown teachers and the teaching profession.
Strong words, Dr.
Strong words I'm using, because how is it these things could be out there for so long? Are they not unreasonable?
No attempts to resolve it.
The UN High Panel on the Status of Teaching says that teachers must have agency over their profession.
Hold that thought for me, because I'm at the break. And I know, Mr. Wright, we haven't heard from you, but seeing that I spoke to you on radio and you sounded fine with the bill, it's going to be interesting to hear what you say when we come back after the break. We'll soon come. Remember, you can WhatsApp us. Want to hear from you. It's 254-0693. That's 876-254-0693. Give us your first name and your general location. We'll soon come.